I never should have gone to that dinner. That's what I keep telling myself as I stare at the ceiling of my tiny apartment, replaying every mortifying detail of last night. My head pounds like someone's using a jackhammer inside my skull, and my mouth tastes like something died in it. But the hangover is nothing compared to the crushing weight of regret sitting on my chest. It was supposed to be a simple team dinner. Manager Kim had just gotten promoted, and everyone from the marketing department was celebrating at that overpriced Korean barbecue place in Gangnam. I'm not much of a drinker, never have been. As an Omega, I've always been careful about letting my guard down in public. But last night, everything went wrong. Just one shot, just so, they chanted, and like an idiot I gave in. One shot became two, then I lost count. The soju burned going down, but it also made the weight I'd been carrying feel lighter. My ex had texted me that morning, some bullshit apology 6 months too late, and I'd been in a weird mood all day. The alcohol made me feel invincible. It made me forget why I kept walls up in the first place. Around 10, most of my coworkers started heading home. I should have left with them. Instead, I stayed behind with a few stragglers at a noribang nearby, singing off-key ballads and laughing too loud at jokes that weren't funny. That's where I saw him. He was in the room next to ours, visible through the open door when I stumbled past looking for the bathroom. Tall, broad-shouldered, with dark hair falling into intense eyes. An alpha, I could smell it even through my drunken haze, that distinctive scent of rain and cedar that made my Omega instincts sit up and take notice. Our eyes met for just a moment, but it felt like static electricity crackling through the air. I should have looked away. Should have kept walking. But the alcohol had stripped away my usual caution, and when he smiled, this slow, dangerous smile that promised trouble, I smiled back. I don't remember who made the first move. Memory gets hazy after that, fragments of sensation more than concrete details. His hand on my lower back, guiding me out of the noribang. The cool night air doing nothing to sober me up. His deep voice asking if I was okay, if I was sure, and me nodding because in that moment, I'd never been more sure of anything. The hotel was nearby. Upscale, discreet. I remember the elevator ride, how he kept a respectful distance until I was the one who closed it, pulling him down by his collar to kiss him. How he'd groaned against my mouth like I was exactly what he'd been craving. The rest comes in flashes. His hands, confident and gentle at the same time. The way he'd asked for permission before every touch, even drunk as I was. The intensity in his eyes when he looked at me, like I was something precious. The feeling of being wanted, being desired, being seen in a way I hadn't felt in so long. And then the heat of his body against mine, the overwhelming sensation of connection, of two puzzle pieces finally clicking together even though we were strangers. For a few hours, nothing else existed but us and the electricity between us. I woke up at dawn with sunlight stabbing through unfamiliar curtains. The panic hit immediately. Where was I? Whose arm was draped over my waist? I turned my head slowly, afraid of what I'd find, and saw him, the alpha from last night, still sleeping peacefully beside me. In the morning light, he was even more attractive, and that somehow made everything worse. What had I done? I've never been the type for one-night stands. I'm careful, responsible, boring. That's what my ex used to say. Jiwoo, you're 28 but you act like you're 50. And here I was, naked in a hotel room with a complete stranger, my body aching in ways that brought last night flooding back in vivid detail. I extracted myself from his embrace as carefully as possible, holding my breath every time he shifted. My clothes were scattered across the floor like evidence of my terrible judgment. I dressed faster than I ever have in my life, my hands shaking as I buttoned my shirt wrong twice before getting it right. I should leave a note. That's what people do, right? But what would I even say? Thanks for the amazing sex, sorry I can't remember your name? Instead, I grabbed my phone and wallet and practically ran from that room. The walk of shame back to my apartment was excruciating. People stared at my wrinkled clothes and sex-mussed hair. I kept my head down, cheeks burning, and prayed I wouldn't run into anyone I knew. Back home, I stood under the shower for 40 minutes, scrubbing at skin that still smelled like him, that cedar and rain scent that my Omega hindbrain found intoxicatingly attractive. I needed to wash away the evidence, the memory, the feeling of his hands on my body. But the scent lingered, and so did the memories. For the next week, I jumped every time my phone buzzed, terrified he'd somehow tracked me down. But nothing came. No calls, no messages. He didn't know my name, didn't know where I worked. It was truly anonymous, a moment out of time that would fade like a dream. I threw myself into work, staying late at the office, volunteering for extra projects. Anything to keep busy, to stop thinking about that night. My coworkers asked if I was feeling okay after the dinner. I lied and said I was fine, that I didn't remember much about that night. 3 months passed. Then 4. The memory should have faded, but sometimes I'd catch a whiff of cedar in a department store and my heart would skip. I told myself it was just residual embarrassment, not longing. I told myself I'd moved on. I told myself a lot of lies. Then, on a regular Tuesday evening, someone knocked on my door. I opened it without thinking, expecting a delivery or maybe my neighbor asking to borrow something. Instead, I found him standing there, the alpha from that night, looking just as shocked as I felt. And in his arms, bundled in a blue blanket, was a baby. For 5 full seconds, I can't breathe, can't think, can't do anything except stare at the impossible sight in front of me. It's him, the alpha from that night, standing at my door like a ghost materialized from my guilty conscience, except he's real and very much holding a baby that can't be more than a few months old. Jiwoo. His voice is uncertain, hopeful, and hearing my name from his lips sends a shock through my system. How? I choke out, then my survival instincts kick in. I try to slam the door shut, but he's faster. His foot blocks it, and the baby makes a small noise that stops me cold. I can't crush a child, even if every fiber of my being is screaming at me to run. Please, just give me 5 minutes to explain, he says quickly, desperation bleeding into his tone. I know this is crazy. I know you probably never wanted to see me again. But I need to talk to you. How do you know my name? How did you find me? My voice comes out high, panicked. I'd been so careful that morning, leaving before he woke up, making sure there was no trace. Your phone, he admits, looking embarrassed. When you were sleeping, it buzzed with a work email notification. I saw your name and the company logo. I'm sorry, I know that sounds creepy, but I woke up and you were gone and I... He shifts the baby in his arms. I couldn't stop thinking about you. I didn't do anything with the information at first, I swear. But then everything changed and I needed to find you. My mind is racing. He's been able to find me this whole time? For 4 months, I thought I was safe, anonymous, and he could have shown up any day? The violation of it makes my hands shake, but there's something in his expression that isn't predatory. He looks exhausted, actually. Dark circles under his eyes, his shirt slightly wrinkled, and the way he's holding that baby suggests this isn't some calculated ambush. Whose baby is that? I ask, terrified of the answer. The timing would be wrong. We were together 4 months ago, and that baby looks younger than that. But Omega biology can be unpredictable, and what if... Mine, he says, and relief crashes through me so intensely my knees nearly buckle. From a previous relationship. His name is Minjun. He's 3 months old. Then what are you doing here? The question comes out harsher than I intend, but I need answers before my heart explodes from anxiety. Can I come in? Please? He just fell asleep and the baby makes another small sound, and the alpha's whole face softens as he looks down at the child. There's such tenderness there that something in my chest aches. I promise I'll explain everything. And if you want me to leave after that and never come back, I will. But please, just hear me out. This is a terrible idea. Every rational brain cell I have is screaming warnings. But I step aside and let him in anyway, because apparently I learned nothing from the last time I made a terrible decision involving this alpha. He walks into my small apartment, and I'm suddenly hyper-aware of how modest it is. The worn couch, the tiny kitchen, the stack of unpaid bills on the counter I keep meaning to organize. He doesn't seem to notice or care. He's too busy carefully adjusting the baby in his arms, supporting the tiny head with practiced ease. Sit, I say stiffly, gesturing to the couch. Talk. Fast. He sits, and I remain standing, arms crossed defensively across my chest. Distance. I need distance. My name is Kang Taehwan, he begins, and now the stranger finally has a name. That night we met, I was in Seoul for a business trip. I live in Busan, normally. I was going through something difficult. My ex-partner, an Omega named Jiwoo, had just told me he was pregnant. We'd broken up 2 months before, and he waited until I was in Seoul to drop that bomb. I watch his face carefully. He's not lying. I can see the pain there, still fresh. I was angry, confused, drinking too much. And then I saw you. His eyes find mine, and there's that intensity again, that same electric connection from 4 months ago. You smiled at me, and for the first time in weeks, I could breathe. What we shared that night, it wasn't just physical for me, Jiwoo. It meant something. My heart is hammering. You don't even know me. I know, he says quietly. That's what I've been telling myself for 4 months. That it was just one night, just chemistry, just alcohol. But I haven't been able to stop thinking about you. The way you laughed, the way you looked at me like I was someone worth knowing, the way you... He stops himself, color rising in his cheeks. The baby stirs, and Taehwan immediately starts a gentle rocking motion, so automatic it's clear he's done this thousands of times. Jiwoo gave birth 2 months ago, he continues, his voice dropping. He took one look at Minjun, signed over full custody and left. Said he never wanted to be a parent, that keeping the baby was a mistake. I haven't heard from him since. The pain in his voice is raw. So now it's just me and Minjun. I moved back to Seoul last week because my job here is more stable, better hours. I can actually be present for my son. That's tragic, and I'm sorry, but I still don't understand what this has to do with me. I'm trying to keep my voice cold, detached, but it's hard when I can see how much he's struggling. I can't stop thinking about you, he says again, more firmly this time. I've tried, Jiwoo. I've tried so damn hard because I know this is crazy. I'm a single father with a 3-month-old baby. I work 60 hours a week. I barely sleep. I have no business pursuing someone, especially someone I spent one night with. But that night showed me something. It showed me I'm still capable of feeling something real. Something beyond just going through the motions. He stands up carefully, the baby still sleeping against his chest. He takes a step closer, and I force myself not to retreat. I'm not asking you to jump into anything, Taehwan says softly. I'm not expecting you to suddenly want to play house with me and my son. But I needed to see you again. I needed to know if what I felt was real or just my imagination. And now, seeing you, his free hand reaches out like he wants to touch me, then drops. It's real. This is real. This is insane, I whisper, but my conviction is cracking. You can't just show up after 4 months with a baby and expect, what? What exactly do you want from me? A chance, he says simply. Just a chance to get to know you properly. Coffee, dinner, conversation. Normal things. Let me prove that night wasn't a fluke. You have a baby. I know. I don't know anything about babies. Neither did I 4 months ago. He smiles slightly, and it transforms his exhausted face into something dangerously attractive. I'm a quick learner. The baby, Minjun, yawns, a tiny perfect sound, and my Omega instincts betray me by finding it absolutely adorable. 1 coffee, I hear myself say, and I can't believe the words are coming out of my mouth. 1 coffee, and then you leave me alone if I ask you to. Deal? Taehwan's whole face lights up like I've given him the world. Deal. Saturday? 2 p.m.? There's a quiet cafe near Hangang Park. Baby friendly. Fine. Saturday. He gives me his number, which I save. Then he's heading for the door, and I'm following, ready to lock it behind him and process what just happened. At the threshold, he turns back. Jiwoo? Thank you for giving me a chance. I promise I won't waste it. Then he's gone, and I'm alone with the lingering scent of cedar and rain, and the realization that I'm in so much trouble. Saturday comes too quickly and too slowly at the same time. I change my outfit 4 times before settling on jeans and a simple sweater, casual but put together. I tell myself this isn't a date. It's just coffee with someone who won't leave me alone. Except my racing heart and sweaty palms suggest my body hasn't gotten that memo. Taehwan is already at the cafe when I arrive, Minjun strapped to his chest in a baby carrier. He waves when he sees me, and that smile, warm and genuine, makes my traitorous heart skip. "You came," he says, standing up. There's relief in his voice, like he wasn't sure I would. I said I would. I slide into the seat across from him, acutely aware of the baby between us. Minjun is awake now, big dark eyes staring at me with that intense focus babies have. "Hi," I say awkwardly to the child, not sure what else to do. Minjun blows a spit bubble in response. "He likes you," Taehwan says, grinning. He usually cries when meeting new people. The coffee date is surprisingly nice. We talk about normal things: work, favorite foods, childhood stories. Taehwan tells me about growing up in Daegu, about his mother who taught him to cook, about his chaotic career in business consulting. I tell him about my boring office job, my small circle of friends, my obsession with true crime podcasts. When Minjun starts fussing, I watch Taehwan transform. He's efficient, gentle, prepared, producing a bottle from his bag like a magician. "Do you want to hold him?" he asks suddenly. "While I heat this up?" I've never. "I'll show you." Before I can protest, he's carefully transferring the baby into my arms, adjusting my grip, showing me how to support the head. Minjun is warm and solid and impossibly small. He looks up at me with those huge eyes, and something in my chest cracks open. "See? Natural," Taehwan says softly, and when I look up, he's watching us with an expression that makes my breath catch. One coffee turns into two. Then Taehwan asks if I want to walk by the river. I should say no. Should maintain boundaries. Instead, I find myself nodding. That's how it starts. The unraveling of every wall I've carefully constructed. Over the next month, Taehwan appears in my life with increasing frequency. He shows up at my apartment with takeout because I made too much. He texts me photos of Minjun doing mundane baby things, sleeping, yawning, staring at his own hand like it's the most fascinating object in the universe. He calls me after particularly rough nights, his voice exhausted but wanting to hear mine before sleeping. "I'm not trying to pressure you," he says during one of these late-night calls. It's 3 a.m., and I can hear Minjun crying in the background. You make things feel less overwhelming. Is that weird? Maybe, I admit, curled up in my bed, phone pressed to my ear. But I like hearing from you too. The confession slips out before I can stop it, and the silence that follows is charged with possibility. "Yeah." His voice is soft, hopeful. "Yeah." A week later, Taehwan shows up at my door looking completely frazzled. Minjun is screaming, face red, tiny fists waving in fury. "I don't know what's wrong," Taehwan says desperately. He's fed, changed, not sick. He just won't stop crying. My regular sitter canceled and I have this meeting in an hour that I absolutely cannot miss, and he looks at me with such raw panic that I make another terrible decision. "Give him to me." "What?" "I'll watch him. For a few hours. You go to your meeting." "Jiwoo, I can't ask you to." "You're not asking. I'm offering." I take the screaming baby, and Taehwan looks at me like I've offered him salvation. "Go. We'll be fine." He kisses my forehead, quick and impulsive, then freezes, realizing what he's done. "Sorry, Go," I say again, trying to ignore the warmth spreading through my chest. Alone with Minjun, I panic for approximately 30 seconds before instinct takes over. I remember my sister's kids, the way motion sometimes helped. I start walking, bouncing gently, humming tunelessly. Gradually, miraculously, Minjun's cries soften. His eyes start drooping. Within 20 minutes, he's asleep against my shoulder. I should put him down. Instead, I sink onto the couch, cradling this tiny life, breathing in that distinct baby smell. My Omega instincts are purring, content in a way I've never experienced. This isn't my child. This isn't my alpha. But my body doesn't seem to care about logic. When Taehwan returns 3 hours later, he finds us both asleep on the couch, me curled protectively around Minjun, the baby's tiny hand fisted in my sweater. Jiwoo. His voice is gentle, pulling me from sleep. Hey. I blink awake, disoriented. Taehwan is kneeling beside the couch, and the look on his face is so tender it hurts. You're a natural, he whispers. He just needed motion. I deflect, but I'm reluctant to hand Minjun over. No. Taehwan's hand covers mine where it rests on Minjun's back. You're a natural. Look at him. He's never slept this peacefully with anyone but me. Our faces are close, too close. I can see the flecks of gold in his dark eyes, can smell cedar and rain mixed with baby formula. His gaze drops to my lips. Taehwan, I breathe, and it's either a warning or permission. I'm not sure which. He leans in slowly, giving me time to pull away. I don't. Our lips meet soft and questioning, nothing like that drunken night 4 months ago. This is careful, deliberate, real. When we break apart, my heart is thundering. I'm falling for you, he says against my lips. I know it's fast and complicated and probably stupid, but I'm falling for you, Jiwoo. Fear spikes through me. You don't know me. Not really. Then let me. His hand cups my cheek. Let me know you. All of you. The good, the bad, the parts you think are too boring or broken. I want all of it. I want to say yes. Want to throw caution away and dive into this terrifying, beautiful possibility. But old wounds hold me back. Your ex left, I say quietly. Yejuan saw your baby and walked away. What if I'm not enough either? What if I can't handle this? You and Minjun deserve someone who's sure, and I'm terrified, Taehwan finishes. I know. So am I. He shifts Minjun carefully, then takes both my hands. Do you think I'm not scared? I'm a single father who hasn't slept properly in months. My life is chaos. I have no business asking anyone to join this mess. But you, Jiwoo, you make me want to try anyway. Minjun chooses that moment to wake up, making little cooing sounds. He looks between us, then reaches a tiny hand toward my face. Without thinking, I let him grab my finger, and he holds on with surprising strength. See, Taehwan says softly. He's already attached to you. We both are. The enormity of it crashes over me, the weight of being wanted, needed, chosen. It's intoxicating and terrifying in equal measure. I need time, I whisper, to think, to process. This is all so fast. Disappointment flashes across Taehwan's face, but he nods. Good. Take whatever time you need. I'll wait. He gathers Minjun and his things, preparing to leave. At the door, he turns back one more time. Just remember, falling isn't the scary part, Jiwoo. It's beautiful, actually. The scary part is staying on the ground, watching everyone else fly, because you're too afraid to jump. Then he's gone, and I'm alone with the ghost of his kiss on my lips and the warmth of Minjun's weight still imprinted on my chest. I spend the next 3 days thinking about jumping. On the 4th day, my phone rings. It's Taehwan, and his voice is pure panic. Jiwoo, I'm at the hospital. Minjun has a fever. They're running tests. I can't. His voice breaks. Can you come? Please? I need you. I'm out the door before he finishes the sentence. At the hospital, I find Taehwan in the pediatric ward, looking more terrified than I've ever seen anyone. I don't think. I just wrap my arms around him, and he collapses into me, shaking. They think it's just a virus, he says into my shoulder. But he's so small, and what if? He'll be okay. You're here, and he's getting care, and he'll be okay. We stay like that for a long time, holding each other while Minjun sleeps in his hospital crib, monitors beeping steadily. And somewhere in that sterile room, with fear and love tangled together, I realize I've already jumped. I just hadn't admitted it yet. Minjun is released from the hospital the next morning with a clean bill of health. Just a minor virus, like they said. But those 12 hours changed everything. I stayed the entire night, held Taehwan when he broke down at 2 a.m., convinced himself he was a terrible father for not noticing the fever sooner. Fed Minjun his bottle at 4 when the nurses said he could eat. Dozed in an uncomfortable chair while Taehwan finally slept, my hand linked with his. When we leave the hospital, Exhausted and emotionally wrung out, Taehwan turns to me in the parking lot. The morning sun makes his tired face glow golden. "Thank you," he says, voice rough. "For coming. For staying. For..." His voice cracks. "You didn't have to." "I wanted to," I say, and it's the truest thing I've ever said. "Taehwan, My phone rings, shattering the moment. I glance at the screen and my blood runs cold. It's my ex, Sunggo. The one who texted me that morning 4 months ago, right before everything changed. "I need to take this," I say apologetically. Taehwan nods, adjusting Minjun in his carrier. I step away, answering with dread. "Hello. Jiwoo. Finally. I've been trying to reach you." Sunggo's voice is bright, cheerful, like he didn't shatter my heart 6 months ago. "Listen, I'm back in Seoul. I was thinking we could meet up, talk about things. I made a mistake letting you go. I want to try again." The words I would have desperately wanted to hear 6 months ago now feel hollow, meaningless. I look at Taehwan, who's swaying gently to keep Minjun calm, looking at his son with such devoted love. "No," I say firmly. "What? Jiwoo, come on. Don't be like that. We were good together." "We weren't. You told me I was boring. That I had no passion. That being with me was like dating a robot. The old wounds barely sting now. You were probably right. I was playing it safe, never taking risks, never feeling anything too deeply because feeling meant hurting." "Exactly. But you can change." "We can." "I have changed," I interrupt. "I've learned that safe isn't the same as happy. That fear isn't protection. It's just a different kind of prison. And I've met someone who makes me want to be brave." Taehwan's head snaps up, eyes finding mine across the parking lot. "I'm not interested in going backward, Sunggo. I'm finally moving forward. Don't call again." I hang up before he can respond, hands shaking but resolve solid. I walk back to Taehwan, whose expression is cautiously hopeful. "Your ex," he asks quietly, "doesn't matter anymore." I take a deep breath, gathering courage. "Taehwan, I'm terrified. I've never been good at relationships. I'm awkward with emotions, I overthink everything, and I know nothing about babies. But watching you last night, seeing how much you love Minjun, how hard you're trying, my voice wavers. I want to be part of that. I want to try. If you'll still have me." He closes the distance between us in 2 strides, his free hand cupping my face. "If I'll still have you? Jiwoo, I've been yours since that first night. I just was waiting for you to catch up." He kisses me there in the hospital parking lot, and it tastes like coffee and tears and new beginnings. Minjun coos between us, and we break apart laughing. "So what now?" I ask, suddenly nervous. "Do we date? Take things slow?" "We take things at whatever pace feels right," Taehwan says. "No pressure, no expectations. Just us figuring it out together." Together, I repeat, testing the word. It feels good. The next few weeks are a beautiful chaos. Taehwan doesn't rush things. He's true to his word. But we spend nearly every day together. He teaches me how to change diapers, harder than it looks, how to interpret Minjun's different cries, hungry versus tired versus just cranky, how to make formula at 3 a.m. while half asleep. Muscle memory saves lives. I learned that Taehwan stress cooks, that he sings off-key lullabies, that he cries during sad movies but tries to hide it. He learns that I'm grumpy before coffee, that I narrate my actions to Minjun like he's my tiny assistant, that I have a terrible habit of buying baby clothes because they're so small and cute. My apartment slowly fills with baby supplies. A pack-and-play in the corner. Bottles in my kitchen. Tiny socks that constantly go missing. It should feel invasive, overwhelming. Instead, it feels like home. 1 month becomes 2. Taehwan starts leaving a toothbrush at my place. I get added to his emergency contacts. We fall into a rhythm that feels natural, inevitable. Then, on a random Tuesday, everything shifts again. I'm at work when my phone rings. It's an unknown number. I almost don't answer, but something makes me pick up. Is this Han Jiwoo? A woman's voice, professional and cold. Yes. This is Attorney Park Minha. I represent Choi Yejuan. I'm calling regarding his son, Kang Minjun. My blood turns to ice. What about him? Mr. Choi wishes to revisit the custody arrangement. He's had time to reconsider his decision and believes he's now ready for parental responsibilities. We'll be filing a motion to establish shared custody. The world tilts. He abandoned his baby. He signed away his rights. He signed away immediate custody, not parental rights. There's a difference. We'll be in touch with Mr. Kang's attorney. Have a good day. She hangs up, and I'm left staring at my phone in horror. I leave work immediately, driving to Taehwan's apartment with my heart in my throat. He opens the door, sees my face, and knows instantly something's wrong. What happened? I tell him everything. Watch his face go pale, then red with anger. He can't do this, Taehwan says, voice shaking. He left. He looked at our son and walked away. He doesn't get to just come back. The lawyer said he has parental rights. That he can fight for custody. I grab Taehwan's hands. What are we going to do? We fight, Taehwan says fiercely. We document everything, every moment I've been here, every midnight feeding, every doctor's appointment. And you, he looks at me intently. You've been here too. You're part of Minjun's life now. That matters. I'm not legally anything to him, I say helplessly. Then let's change that. Taehwan pulls me close, voice urgent. Move in with me. Officially. Show that Minjun has a stable, loving home with two parents who choose to be here. Because that's what you are, Jo. You're his parent just as much as I am, blood or not. My heart stops. Taehwan. I love you, he says, and it's the first time either of us has said it out loud. I'm in love with you. I want you in my life, in Minjun's life, permanently. Not because of Yejuan or lawyers or custody battles. Because you're ours and we're yours. Say yes. Please say yes. I look past him into the apartment, where Minjun is napping in his crib, peaceful and perfect. I think about all the moments that led here, the drunken night, the terrifying reunion, the slow unraveling of my walls. The jump I was so afraid to take. Yes, I whisper. Yes to everything. I love you too. Both of you. Taehwan kisses me hard and desperate, and I taste salt. His tears or mine, I can't tell. We fight for Minjun. Over the next 3 months, we build our case with Taehwan's lawyer. I move into his apartment officially. We document everything. Photos, schedules, doctor testimonials about Minjun's thriving health. My coworkers testify that I talk about my son constantly. Taehwan's mother flies in from Daegu and cries when she meets me, hugging me like I'm already family. The day of the custody hearing, I'm more nervous than I've ever been. But when we walk into that courtroom together, Minjun sleeping in my arms, I know we're exactly where we're supposed to be. The judge listens to Yejuan's lawyer argue about second chances and personal growth. Then she listens to our side, sees the evidence of love, stability, and commitment. Sees how Minjun reaches for me when he's fussy, how naturally we work as a family. Her decision is swift. Sole custody remains with Mr. Kang. Mr. Choi will be granted supervised visitation, pending successful completion of parenting classes and psychological evaluation. We win. Outside the courthouse, Taehwan spins me around, Minjun giggling between us. We did it. We're safe. We're family, I correct and kiss both of them. My alpha, my baby, my everything I never knew I needed. 6 months later, Taehwan proposes properly, with a ring and everything. I say yes before he finishes asking. And when people ask how we met, we smile and say, it's complicated. But really, it's simple. Sometimes the best things in life start with a mistake. You just have to be brave enough to see where it leads.